how can a person save 8 lives simultaneously? And also to improve the lives of up to 75 people all at the same time. And that would be through organ and tissue donation. Did you know that President Trump signed a proclamation last month designating April 2019 as the first National Donate Life Month? The proclamation can be found at whitehouse.gov/presidential actions/proclamation. The proclamation called for 2 things. It was to raise awareness and also a call to action. A call to action is there's a dire need for it because 20 people are going to die today waiting for an organ. I want to tell you about a friend of mine, and to respect her privacy, I'm going to refer to her as Mary. I met Mary when she was in her 60s. Mary had been diagnosed when she was 29 with a progressive kidney disease. So when I met her in her 60s, now she was in dialysis. And within 1 year of meeting her, she went on an organ transplant list. She was getting dialysis at the Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville. I did have the privilege of driving her to her appointment. She couldn't drive back. I think it was very taxing on her body at the time. But one thing I did notice when I was there is that in the waiting room, I saw patients as young as one young man that looked like he was maybe 17 on up to people that were more elderly. And I saw every race or a lot of different races and a lot of different ethnicities. So I can tell you, at least with the kidney disease, it's no respecter of persons. It does not discriminate. So there's a dire need for all persons to register as a kidney or as a donor, organ donor. Kidney disease, again, you can't save many lives, and it might seem inconsequential to go and say I'm not going to be a registered donor. There's another gentleman, his name is Eric Gregory, and in March of 2008, his son Chris died of a ruptured brain aneurysm. He was a young student at Loyola University in New Orleans, and just in passing, he had mentioned that he had the desire to be an organ donor if something were to happen. Well, the Gregories were put into that decision. And the reason I bring that up is that you should always tell your friends and your family of your decision. It makes it easier for them, but also I think there's a legal requirement that they would have known that it was your wish to be an organ donor. Mr. Gregory goes on in his account to say that his son's heart went to a recipient, a 65-year-old black man. And I mention that because there's, I think, 323 million U.S. residents or citizens living in the United States. 98% of them were not, all the people were polled, and of the people who participated, 98% of them were in favor of organ donation. But yet only 58% of them are actually registered organ donors. So that's kind of an anomaly there, because organ donation is thought of as a right to a pro-life issue, yet it brings everybody together. Everybody's in agreement that it's a good thing. So it is very easy to become a donor. Right now at this moment there's over 100,000 people waiting for an organ transplant. I looked at a couple of websites. Some said 113, 114, so there's a lot of people waiting. And again, 20 people are going to die today waiting. To donate, it's very easy. You can do it while you renew your driver's license, and probably most of you have already done that. So if you've done that, you've got a driver's license issued by your state, and it'll have in red letters right underneath your signature that you're an organ donor. So it's very easy to do. And I have also taken the time to go out, and I ask you to get the word out, to register, volunteer if you're able, and also to make a financial contribution to any of the organizations that do manage organ donation. You can register on your state's donor registry, and you can find that at organdonor.gov, and it tells you most of the states or have a registry, but some don't. And also that you can designate your choice on your driver's license. You can do it in person or you can do it online, so it's very easy. And like I said, it may seem inconsequential at the moment, but it could make a huge difference in a lot of people's lives if you do pass on suddenly. I would also advise you to let your family members know. It's important that they all know, or your health surrogate. You go into the hospital, make sure that it's clear that that's your wish. It is certainly my wish, and it is also my wish that you would become an organ donor, registered organ